So there are good and bad events both in this test. Please tick mark those events which you've experienced in the last 12 months. You don't need to write a name and email because again, initially I thought I'll take these sheets back from you. Then I thought you will be more comfortable if these sheets remain with you. And it is better kept personal. So please keep these sheets with you. Don't need to write name, email, anything. Yeah, I'll tell this. Just give me a minute. I'm just putting my pen drive. I'll tell you how to analyze this. And then I'll also tell what is the interpretation of this. You can draw all that yourself. There's a full screen view on this.
Windows full screen.
So you have to calculate actually your LCU, that is your life-changing units. That is what you have to calculate from this. Now, is this too small for you? Okay. Yes, stressing you. What I'll do is, let me show it in normal view then. The points here, I'll show it, I'll scroll down more. You see the points with each of these events that you have on that test. Whichever events you have tick marked, you add those points. That's it. Is it clear? Whichever events you have tick marked, you add those points. The points corresponding to each events are given here or here. I'll scroll it, as I said, I'll scroll it slowly so that you can see the entire. Yeah, I'll scroll it as much as possible. Yeah. And I'll scroll down more. The points corresponding to each event is given here. You have to just add up those points for events which you have tick marked. That's it. For instance, if you have tick marked something like change in the health of family member, you have to add 44. So keep on adding the points for the events which you have tick marked. Whenever you want me to scroll down more, please let me know. This is actually more an American test, so they have mentioned Christmas. Christmas means if you have altered the way you used to celebrate your festivals, if that has altered anyway, whether you have cut down or whether you have increased, then you have to tick mark that event. Have you done that? Have you calculated your scores? Okay. How many of you have scored more than 300? 300.
Where? Together.
All put together. Your total, now you have to total those points. How many of you have scored more than 300? No. Your individual score, right? How many of you have scored more than 300? If I can see your hands like this.
100 I went 3 years back.
Huh?
100 I went 3 years back.
Okay. No, that is very good actually. How many of you have scored above 300? No? Nobody? Okay. In the range of 150 to 299. In the range of 150 to 299. And below that? All of the rest of you below that? Yes. Okay. I don't think you needed this session at all. Okay, wonderful. That is a very good thing. Actually, if you have scored 300 or more, 80% chance of a serious health change is there. If you have scored 150 to 299, there is 50% chance of getting sick in the near future. However, if you have scored less than 150 points, which seems to be maturity, there is only 30% chance of impact on health. But 30% chance is still there. And that is perhaps where...
If it is for the positive,
yeah.
Like change in financial position, we got our salary enhanced. So we should not be carrying any disease or stress. Rather we are on the happier side.
Change in financial position...
Yeah, we are better off.
What happens is, Sometimes change in financial position, that means you are earning more money, leads to problems in terms of overspending also.
Overspending, managing.
Now you have more money, you have more taxes also. Now you have to manage taxes also, isn't it? Now you have to pay for the chartered accountant, isn't it? The chartered accountant comes and gives you stress. He tells you, if you don't invest here, you will get taxed. If you don't invest here, if you don't declare this, if you don't declare that. So that change in financial status. Point is not that whether that event is good or bad. The point is how we handle that event. It's not about that event being a good or a bad event. It's about how you handle that event, isn't it? For instance,
I rather wrote a vacation because earlier I used to go lesser on vacation. During the last year I went 3 or 4 times on vacation.
Didn't you spend more?
Yeah, but I was happy while spending.
You're happy with spending. Of course, if you look at the good events have lesser points, isn't it? In other words, if you add up good events, it actually is eustress, isn't it? It's actually eustress. But if you add up the negative events, the stress level goes up. Long and short of this is, if I can have your attention back, please. Long and short of this is, stress originates from brain, and hence, if it has to be managed, then it has to be managed from brain also. That is what, thus I'm coming into my concluding part of this session. In other words, if stress originates from brain, then is it possible to alter the cognitive maps in our mind and manage the stress? The answer is yes. And that is what I would focus on. And that's why an ABC matrix works out in this way. What is this ABC matrix? A is the activating event. Now there are 2 ABCs in this actually. There is a ABC lateral, there is a ABC top down. And I'll explain both. Interestingly, both are ABC. ABC lateral. ABC lateral works out like there is an activating event. That means an event which causes stress. That event is an activating event. Anything. You saw so many events. You may have even more events in your list. Any event that causes stress is the A, or the activating event. B is our belief about that event. What we believe about that event. And C is the consequence. What happens as a result of that event and our belief of that event is the consequence. Interestingly, there is no control over this activating event. We have no control over this activating event. It will happen whether we like it or don't like it. It will happen. As people who we work with, organizations in which we work, mostly is a matter of chance, isn't it? You really can't determine who will sit next to me, whom will I work with. Similarly, these activating events, we do not have any control. What we have control here is on this belief, because this belief is ours. And this belief is determined here. This is where this belief we can make or change. So this belief is something which we'll try to alter. We'll see whether we can alter it or not. To alter the consequences. That is what this ABC is simply about. I'll give you an illustration. The illustration is very simple and a very common day affair, isn't it? Stuck in traffic and running late for work. You're stuck in traffic and you're running late for work. This is the A. Let us first go towards this red line. This is the B. Believe if it is, I should never be late. I'm going to be fired, because, it will spoil my image. I will be late for an important meeting. And what happens now? The consequence is you're stressed and worried. You're thinking how will you manage your work. You're not able to get out of the traffic. You try to wriggle out. You shout on other drivers. You may hit some other car also. Somehow you reach your office. Your entire day, your plan has gone tipsy-turvy. And your entire day, the person is thinking how to really cope with that. Now supposedly we take a different route and alter this belief. The belief is altered like traffic jams happen, isn't it? It's an everyday affair. It's not very uncommon in big cities. It happens. I'm on time always. Most of the days I'm on time. So there could be times where I get stuck in traffic and I become late. It's not deliberate. It is something which is uncontrollable. Maybe I can try in future to avoid it. But this time it has happened. I really can't do anything. Now, I can think about how can I reprioritize in that time. How can I shorten my meeting? How can I keep some things which are not so important for some other day? Which are some of the most important things which I must attend on that day? Reprioritization can happen in that time, because that time is anyways ideal. You are not doing nothing, but you are sitting behind the wheel. You are not doing anything. So you can take that time to reprioritize. By the time you reach your office, you may also think of some times that, of the next holiday that you are going to take. It will make you feel happy, because again, you're idle, isn't it? You're idle behind the wheel.
Stress to you as well as the speaker. And it was a very conscious decision. In fact, it was a very interesting thing. I first come across this book, Dr. Debashish, and it contains some 51 steps to quick and easy steps to overcome your stress. So I would suggest you, maybe when you are waiting for your flight tomorrow, you can just look at it. Very simple and easy to follow steps. And then from that Excel publishers, we were trying to search him, and as per the address given there, he was somewhere in UP. And finally we have Googled him, and finally we located him in Bangalore, and we contacted him because we wanted to give some solid theoretical background to the whole stress phenomena before we talk anything simple about do this, do that. That way, I'm very happy and thankful to Dr. Debashish, who has taken a lot of trouble and very sincere to, really give this program an interesting thing. And on behalf of the college, I request Madam to kindly hand.